Brand disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by individuals on this platform, the callers plus invited guests, are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with this brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live or via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Free Radio.
Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation through PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $Sal Showtime. Thanks for your support.
Watching the news, we're listening to Donald Trump give us some daily updates on what to do. He's telling us to stay at home, quarantine. What do you, Reese Roberts? I'm gonna go to you, Reese. What do you feel about this whole thing with the coronavirus? Is it real? Is it a cause for concern? Some people even thinking it's a spiritual battle or some kind of plague that's going on. From the heavens, things of that nature. What is your thoughts when it comes to this whole coronavirus?
I believe there are several truths to the coronavirus on different levels. On the spiritual level, there are some truths that we need to be aware of. On the physical level, on the emotional level, we need to be mindful of a lot of different things concerning just what do you would call an outbreak. But there's a rule of thumb that I like to live by. And that rule of thumb is, how would I be living or acting or eating or whatever, what would I be doing if I did not have a cell phone or a TV or a computer to tell me that all of this stuff was going on outside of my front door? When I go outside my front door, I live in the Decatur area in Atlanta, and there has been no shutdown. There has been I haven't seen or felt anybody so much as cough in my immediate area. I haven't seen anybody, people are out there wearing masks or whatever, but not really that much more than they normally would during flu season. I see that happen every flu season. I just have not seen anything to be afraid of. I haven't heard anything to be afraid of. I don't understand the fear. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know why there's so much panic out there. People are really honestly doing too much. I think the biggest thing to pay attention to and to be cautious of is going to be the economic implications of the coronavirus. Because of the fear that's out there, you have things like what I'm dealing with right now, which is in the stock market. People are so afraid and panicking and doing all this other stuff that they're not paying attention to what's actually happening that, actually has a little bit more sting to it. With the stock market dropping like it is, and with the Federal Reserve doing their best to stimulate the economy, but yet it's not working, to me, those are the things we should probably be a little bit more afraid of. I don't really like to call myself a conspiracy theorist, but if you're not going to listen to arguments that even have the possibility of being valid, and to me, you can't call yourself an intellect or a smart person or a wise person or any of that. Because to me, I take it all in. So this whole situation that we have going on with China, I don't know if anybody pays attention to the news, but we were fighting with China. Trump and that, whatever their leader name is, Kim Jong or whoever he was, before the coronavirus ever was spoken of, they were at each other's throats. And then the next thing you know, there's this outbreak, and it starts in China, and now all of us are looking at Chinese people like the plague. Don't nobody want to buy nothing from China. I heard a hairstylist say, I'm not installing nobody's hair if it came from China. And I'm like, just that quick, we have been mobilized against Chinese people. But how many times have we gone into nail salons and been mistreated and have plenty of reasons to say I'm not getting nothing from them Chinese people? How many times have we gone into their stores and have plenty of reasons not to want to shop with them? But it takes for Trump to tell everybody that there's some kind of virus out there for us to start saying, oh, and it started in China, by the way, and now all of a sudden don't nobody want to mess with China. I can't take it. I just can't take it. It's messing up the stock market, and people are out here buying toilet paper. I mean, sometimes we just have to stop a bit more deeply about what's going on around us. This is more of an economic thing than it is a health thing, or I should say a health thing. It's an economic and political thing more than it is a health thing. And we just are so into the show of things that we can't even tell the difference. But that's what I think. I yield.
All right, family. Once again, it's the Social Hub. It's the Social Hub. The number is 319-527-6239. Hold on, guys. Get notification that some of the hosts want me to call them, so stand by. I'm going to call them directly from the show, so you might hear some ringing. You might hear a little bit of ringing real quick. But again, the number is 319-527-6239. We want to hear from the family out there that's tuning in to Debate Talk for You. Make sure you press number 1. We're talking about the coronavirus right here. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's panicking, worried about it. Hold on, guys. You're going to hear ringtones. Stand by. You're going to hear it. All right, guys. All right. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. We got Elijah on the phone lines. Elijah, say hello.
Hey. Hey, everybody.
All right, we got you, babe. And let's bring Vinny D in real quick. Sorry about that. Like I said, technical difficulties. But Vinny, let me know what you think about this whole coronavirus thing, man. Let's talk about it. That.
You hanging those up? Yeah. Well, probably tomorrow. Yeah. Hello? Yeah. Sorry about that. To be honest, man, I think it's I don't know what to think. I think it's a real thing. I pretty much think more along the lines of kind of what Sister Reese was bringing out with the when they had the war with China, and then or they had a beef with China, and then all of a sudden they got this virus going around. I know it's kind of a conspiracy theory, but I don't know. I don't really trust these these rulers, and I think that they'll do anything just to kind of win a point or win a war or whatever you want to call it, for lack of a better terms. But I do kind of swing on the side of it being like some kind of a beef. Maybe they put it in the air over there, because I remember reading about China. They're making the claim that it's the U.S.'s fault, that they somehow released it when they went over there or something like that, and now it's going out of control. So I can see it like that, or but I do think that it's a real thing, and because I don't think that the world would be panicking as much as they would, especially the government and the people in power, especially with the way they're putting money, whether it be a smokescreen or not, but whether they're putting money, paying people's wages up to 2 weeks, full wage, and then after that, it's going to go down in increments until, depending on however long it takes for people to be able to go back outside again. But I know it's affecting us. I'm a small business. We're small business owners, and it's kind of putting a crimp in what we're doing, because we're almost finished with a project, and got us trying to rush around and trying to finish it tonight, whereas we were going to come in tomorrow and finish up. But they put a word out there to they want everybody to stay in our county, San Francisco County, Alameda County, Marin County. So it's kind of putting a crimp in everything right now. But I definitely swing along the lines of, the more the conspiracy theory. And I'll be interested to hear what everybody else thinks.
All right, Vinny, once again, the number is 319-527-6239. Well, Elijah Moses, what are your thoughts, man? Coronavirus, man. Are you stocked up with toilet tissue and water? What's going on? Are you prepared, brother?
Yeah. I don't know. I generally believe that part of wisdom is preparation for the future. And the way that I construe preparation for the future is that, you never really want to be caught off guard, like completely off guard, like, oh, I exhausted all my funds, or I didn't do, that's just in general. So stuff like this, when it happens, it shouldn't catch the prudent by surprise. Or when I say prudent, those who are wise, and generally I construe one of the properties of wisdom is just preparing an event. So early February, we made a run to the store before all of this hit and became big and all that. Just because, let's just get all of the major supplies we need, because we do a lot of traveling. And I didn't think it was necessary to wait till later in the year when the schedule is heavier to come and get the things you need. So I think that was a good decision, and it helped prepare us for a certain way. In terms of the virus itself, rule number 1, 2, and 3 for me is don't trust America. So when go to rule number 4, which is also don't trust America. So it's not a surprise to me that during an election season, people can't get out to vote. For those who believe in that system of thinking, but it's never a surprise to me. They pull all types of creative stunts to lull the people to sleep, and then interestingly enough, what we'll see in about November, February, or March of 2021, we'll see reports coming out like we did with weapons of mass destruction, like we did with, the assassination of Martin Luther King. People wrote books later and said, hey, man, somebody smuggled the man to death in the hospital. He actually survived a bullet wound, or, such and such didn't kill Malcolm X, such and such did it. This stuff is not a surprise to me. Like, I just, I don't really put anything past the powers of the American government and what they'll do to exact their desires or interests. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it in terms of the people who affected by it. It's intriguing to me how vulnerable, like situations like this reveal the vulnerability of mankind. So if it is like some major scenario, then people are just vulnerable, man. Like anything can happen at any minute and just cripple the economy. And when you study economics, market economics or capitalist economics, they teach that you don't need to regulate the economy. The system will regulate itself through certain corrections every so many years. And then people like Jeff Bezos, who lost $8 million yesterday or something crazy like that, and people like Bill Gates, and they always Milton Friedman. These individuals say, they say that every 10 or 12 years the market will correct itself, and right now we're in a space where it's time in terms of the 10 or 12 years. The stock market 2007, 2008, bam, that took a big hit. the World Trade Center back in, what was that, '01, that took a big hit. It's time again for a new system of crisis for the market to correct itself, and I think that's where we're at. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right. Once again, that's Moses right there. The number's 319-527-6239. Yeah, I'm getting some messages. I got to check it out. But BA, welcome to the show, BA.
Yo, greetings and much love to all who are listening live and those who listen to this in the recorded archive on the YouTube channel. This is BA Ben Abraham out of Sacramento, California. Me personally, it is humbling to experience what we are witnessing in this day right now. It's humbling to me because me being a believer in the Most High God, Hashem, and recognizing Yeshua the Christ is his only, nobody else. Christ is his only. The prophecy spoken in the law and the prophets, and from there on to the prophecies spoken by the Apostle John in the book of Revelation, as you can see that, and I agree with the brother Elijah Moses and Brother Vinny, you see the beast system and you see what it's doing. You see the devouring of the poor, like spoken in the Psalms, that the rich devour the poor. And I am convinced that this is based on how society has decided to represent and live over the past years and years and years. A lot of these practices are self-inflicted upon us because a lot of us, and when I speak, I'm speaking in general. Man is wicked. Man chooses to reject the Most High God, Hashem. So this is a reflection of the behavior patterns, of the behavior rather, that has been accepted, that has been tolerated in this society. When you have a lot of people who control all the wealth in the world, and when you have a system of injustice, and when I mean injustice, I mean affliction, oppression, the way we live, the way we talk, the way we eat, all of these things. And now the chickens have come to roost. As you can see now, things are starting to reflect on what has been that people have tried to hide over the years. Oh, it's not like that. It's like this. This is better. Well, guess what? Pretty much, not just in America, but pretty much all over the world, we're suffering. And Most High willing, he's the only one that knows what's going to happen. And with that, I'm going to fall back.
All right, that was BA right there, right here on the Bay Talk Radio. Shanti, actually, we're going to have Shanti. She's the host of the second quarter. We're going to bring her in right now and to speak on this topic as well. Shanti, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sal. Thank you to all on the panel. Brother Vinny, Brother BA, Brother Elijah. This is Sister Ashanti. I want to say Shalom, shalom, mishpacha, habarim to the listening audience. I want to say, go, tehalin ko kabo, wahati fered le Yahweh abinu Eloheinu. That is all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, our Father, our Elohim. I do want to echo BA a little bit. These things are pretty much these events, these situations, these happenstances are pretty much the Most High wake-up call, if you will. The Most High constantly gives us wake-up calls. Anything that the Most High can use our attention to get our repentance, our teshuvah to Him. I have different opinions about this. I'm not necessarily a conspiracy theorist, but as a believer, I'm always hopeful, faithful, and putting my faith into action, implementing what I can do to thrive and survive during these times. That's what I try to implement. I try to stay ahead of the curve by understanding the text, the scripture, the prophecies, the Most High speaking through Yeshua, the Messiah. That's who I believe the Messiah to be, Yeshua, the Messiah. Matthew 24, we do see a little bit of revelation taking place, but the times are to get our eyes to be open and to understand and to do some self-examination and understand, yes, we definitely are doing a lot of wicked things. Before we look at anybody else, we do, I believe, have to look at ourselves. The Most High has implemented practices for us human beings, His creation. We are a system, and I was just talking to BA before we came on, and we do have to understand that if the Most High created us, He knows what's best for us. He knows what's good for us. He knows what belongs in our system. He knows what doesn't belong in our system. He knows how to make sure our system continues to function and operate in tune. So, this is about understanding and getting reminded of how to take care of our hygiene, practice good sanitary protocol. Look at what we eat and our health and our nutrition and things of that nature. And actually, this is the testing of our heart, minds, and spirits to see if we love the Most High to the point where we're going to turn and start making an effort to do what He asks us to do. And I'll definitely possibly have some more to add as we go along, but I do want to send my prayers up to all families worldwide. This is not just an American thing. This is a worldwide thing. This is a worldwide thing. This is something that's affecting all humanity right now. And I believe that all humanity is the Most High creation. Right? So I yield after that. I'm looking forward to everybody's input, and I'm looking forward to maybe putting out some possible solutions and also some prayers and things of that nature. So with that being said, shalom, shalom. I'll fall back.
All right. Once again, it's the Social Hub right here on Debate Talk Radio. We talk about the coronavirus, y'all. The coronavirus is the topic for tonight's show. Again, the number is 319-527-6239. We do have a caller. Press number 1. Again, we want to hear from you guys. If you guys are listening, you can press number 1. I see you guys listening. Just press number 1, and we'll answer the conversation. For anyone that's having a problem, to number 1, and it's not popping up, send me an email, debatetalkforyou@gmail.com with your number, and I'll bring you in, because some people saying they're having difficulties calling into the program. But let's take one of these callers before we go back to the panel. Let's go to 443. You're live. 443. You are live. Yeah, you sound kind of far away. Sound a little far.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, what's up, man? Yeah, how you doing, panelists? And, with this coronavirus thing, I mean, like the sister just stated, I mean, all it simply is, cleanliness is next to godliness. We need to have clean hands. Also, we need to watch out. Huh?
BA, can you hear me? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You
calling me about the show?
Yeah, coronavirus.
Yep. So what now?
No, I was just saying that.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, what I was saying.
Mute me, my fault.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. What I'm saying is that the coronavirus is just.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can hear you guys. Stand by, y'all. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, Brother Mercy.
Okay. So basically, coronavirus, in order to fight the coronavirus. Y'all can hear me?
Keep going. Yeah, keep going. That was BA. Yeah, keep going. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, basically, like others have stated, basically just keeping your hands clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. The Bible talks about having clean hands. Also, it talks about we need to watch our, build our immune system with what we eat. So that would help, if we follow a lot of the things prescribed in the Torah and how we should eat, like someone already stated. But also, in addition to all of those things, one thing I noticed is that we got to start critically thinking for ourselves, because let me tell you, they're not running any tests. So, not many tests. There's only 7,000 tests within the whole United States. So, if you're not testing, then you don't really know who has it, who don't. And the scripture is very clear. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. So with them not doing a lot of tests, this quarantine may or may not be that effective, because how do you know the rate of infection or the rate of spread if you're not testing? And so that is so clear. You have to test in order to know what you're doing is working. So I just wanted to say, in China, I know China did the quarantine, but they also did a whole lot of tests. So this country seems to be ignorant. Well, I ain't going to say the thing, as far as they like to keep the public ignorant of a lot of things. But one thing for sure, we're going to have to do our due diligence, no doubt about following the things prescribed in Torah, but also we need to test, just like God tested Abraham, and then after he tested him, he said, now I know that you will obey me. So you see, even God believes in doing tests. So in a sense, we need to know our status, just like any other virus. They tell you to go to the doctor to get tested, but now, as you know, when you go to the doctor, they tell you got to meet a certain criteria to be tested. So you got to really think about what's really going on and how they want to keep us in the dark about certain things. And you really got to this coronavirus is just a smoke screen. It's some stuff. There's some other stuff going on, and that they don't want revealed, and that's why they're not testing. Because what could come out, this is the last thing I'm going to say, what could come out is this virus could be a strain of the flu shot that you've taken already in your body, and that's probably why they don't want to do tests, because it will show a whole lot of false positives. But that's just something to think about. I want to know what the panel think about what if the virus is in us because we got it, maybe possibly all these shots we take and all these shots our kids take when they go to school. It's just something to think about. So that's Brother Mercy out.
All right, Brother Mercy, thanks for your call. And 974, I'm going to get to you. I see you press number 1. Again, the number is 319-527-6239. Reese Roberts, let's go back to you. You want to answer that question? Okay.
Well, I definitely know for a fact that there's more to the coronavirus. Like I said before, I don't see it as a health issue. I see it definitely as an economic and political thing that's actually happening without us being able to pay attention to it, because the coronavirus is such, a pandemic. It's just being blown out of proportion, and it just doesn't, the hype does not match the impact. And what I know is that, for one thing, I pay attention to world politics. I pay attention to what's going on around the entire world. And like I said before, the tension between the U.S. and China, to me, is what has, where it's rooted at. But also, I don't know if any of the panelists had an opportunity to research the material that we put up in the group chat before we got on the call. Posted a map and a video talking about the connection between the coronavirus and the 5G network that has been tested and now executed in certain parts of the world. And this 5G technology has a lot to do with the economic and political systems that we use right now. The existence of cryptocurrency and some other things are going to be dependent upon our network. And these people are doing everything they can to hide what the 5G network does when it comes to our physical health. For maybe a year and a half now, I have seen all over the world protests of people coming out and talking about how dangerous the 5G network is. And this is just what they tell us is for our cell phones. But literally, it's for not just your cell phone, but all electronic devices, of course, but also your financial currency. Because a blockchain, or what you would know as a Bitcoin, those cryptocurrencies are run by modems, computer modems and things like that. So once they start mining for those codes and all that stuff that happens on our 4G network, they're trying to upgrade it to a 5G network so they can have more control over it. What we don't ever get a chance to conceptualize in our immediate perception is that this 5G network is really secured by way of radiation. Okay, anything that you operate on your device, it comes with a certain amount of radiation. Your computer, your cell phone, your internet, your GPS, all those wireless signals, your headset, especially if you use AirPods, all of those devices come with an inherent amount of radiation in your natural body. Now, what we're not considering is the fact that being overly exposed to radiation is cancerous, or what they would call, what is the term I'm looking for? Carcinogen. It's a carcinogen. All that radiation that you take in from all your devices, it starts to create cancer in your body. So because this 5G network was being protested, they had to come up with a way to explain the physical effects that we're having because of them launching. Now, if you pay attention to the world news, like I do, you'll know the 5G network started its testing and started its inception in China, which is where they originally had the first coronavirus outbreak. Because China does not have rules and regulations on health things that, they don't have rules and regulations on their environmental effects. They don't have the same thing like we have the Environmental Protection Agency. They don't have that. So they started up this 5G network. Couldn't nobody complain. So all they could do was protest, which didn't work, of course, because this is big money that they're after. And in any capitalistic society, it doesn't matter how much you protest. It doesn't matter how much you vote. It matters what the money is doing. So they launched this 5G network over there in China, and these people start to have physical effects. They call it the coronavirus, and they say it's spreading. Oh, my God, it's spreading, it's spreading. Then they launch it over here in America and in other countries where they have the capability. And they start saying, oh, the coronavirus is spreading over there too. Oh, it's spreading over there. It's spreading everywhere. When really, it's not the coronavirus that's spreading. What's spreading is their 5G network, and we're experiencing the negative effects of being under too much radiation. The effects that you have where you're having flu-like symptoms, all that mucus that everybody is coughing up. Mucus is the cause of cancer in your body. That comes from being overly exposed to radiation. So the whole time the economy is crashing, they perfectly planned for that to happen. The economy is crashing because they want for us to be in this stage where they can, sort of capitalize off of the fear that we have over virus, this imaginary thing. So they're capitalizing. I don't know if anybody pays attention to the stock market, but they'll tell you when the stock market crashes, there's always a big boom, a big rebound afterwards, and everybody starts to feed off of that profit. There's just so much going on around the world right now. Do you guys know that the Federal Reserve is pumping billions and billions of dollars onto the stock market to try to keep it afloat while they're intentionally crashing it? It's so much stuff that's going on. But because we don't necessarily look into those worlds, like turn on CNN or turn on what's happening in India or what's happening in China, what's happening in Australia and Italy and all that other stuff. What are they doing in those places? Because all of those places are run by the same people that are running the U.S. So it's not that I don't think, of course, we need to have our health in order and all that other stuff. But I don't know about y'all, but the black folks that I know have always been clean and hygienic. I don't know if y'all know like I know, but we taught the world how to do that. I don't think that we have, that's probably the reason why we don't have no problem with the coronavirus. And while we are not out here dying from it, and while we are not susceptible to it, because we are not nasty. But again, but to my earlier point, I don't think there's there's nothing more than the flu going on outside of this radiation that we're being exposed to. So I yield. That's my input.
All right, once again, that's Reese Roberts right here on the Social Hub segment on Debate Talk Radio. I see some people standing by, phone calls. Stand by, we're going to get to you guys. Don't you go nowhere. But once again, the number is 319-527-6239. We also have Sheik Ativa. I'm going to bring you in a few minutes as well. Let's go to Brother B.A. real quick. I think he has Brother Josh on the line. Brother Josh, what's going on, family? I know you want to say a few words before you, do what you got to do. So if you're there, go ahead.
Oh, Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. Can y'all hear me okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're live.
Y'all know I'm driving. I'm driving right now, trying to drive away from the coronavirus. I'm just playing, y'all, but seriously. I agree with the sister was just talking about, it's not a pandemic that we should be worried about. It's the panic that we should be worried about. Mm-hmm. See, if you look around, and I did a lesson on this, and I'm going to put my little shameless plug in right quick. Did a lesson on this this past Saturday. It's still on Blog Talk Radio. It's titled "The Coronavirus: Just Another Plague of God." So if you haven't checked that out, go on Facebook and look for that. The Coronavirus: Just Another Plague of God, in which I go into a lot of detail about what I'm talking about now. And when you look at the mortality rate of this so-called pandemic that we're having, it's clearly a sham because it's not that serious. It hasn't reached proportions where we could really consider it a real epidemic. More people are still dying from other things like the flu and pneumonia than they are from this coronavirus. And my theory when it comes to this, and I can see it going into fruition when it first started popping off, is that this is just a hoax to get people to spend more money. You follow what I'm saying? Like when this thing came out, what did y'all notice everybody did? Everybody rushed to the supermarket and they bought up everything, even things that won't even really prevent the coronavirus. I mean, people buying all these ramen noodles and stuff, and I know they're not buying those to prevent the coronavirus, but they're doing this economy and this system going to completely shut down and people trying to stock up. And then when you combine this with social media and also with theater, like the movies where you're watching all these movies where they're post-apocalyptic, things like The Walking Dead and, 28 Days Later, they pump this fear into our minds. That's what they do. And then they simulate this stuff in real life just to see if we're going for it. And if we're going for it, they really pump it up big time. And a lot of these entertainment industries, like, movies and things like that, they see this. I know a lot of y'all don't see this stuff on The Simpsons, on YouTube, how they say The Simpsons predicted the coronavirus. And even on the Boondocks, which the Boondocks gave you a 2-for-1 with the chicken thing, how people are acting crazy over these Popeye chicken sandwiches, right? And then also with the virus associated with that episode that had everybody freaking out and the media projecting all these figures about how many people is going to infect. These people are fear mongers. I did a class a long time ago titled The Fear Mongers. A fear monger is somebody who spreads fear for a living. They don't do any violence. They don't necessarily flat out lie. They just put out a bunch of scary possibilities until it becomes reality in our own minds. And then next thing you know, you have people in Walmart fighting over toilet paper. You follow what I'm saying? And toilet paper is not even the most hygienic way to sanitize yourself after you use the bathroom. Anybody will tell you that. I'm surprised nobody was in there fighting over moist wipes. You're fighting over toilet paper?
I got it.
Are you kidding me? What? Was somebody saying something?
Someone's mic. Go ahead, brother. Good.
Okay, yeah. So this whole thing is like, is the coronavirus real? Yes. Is it serious? only as serious as it is. And what I mean by that is, it's not something that if you get, we start digging your grave. You know, another thing they're doing is they're giving it celebrity endorsement. Y'all heard that Idris Elba just came out and just said he got it, and before then, Tom Hanks and his wife, we got it. Why is this virus getting so much celebrity endorsement? Why is everybody making a big deal when a celebrity gets it? This is trying to. We already see celebrities as gods, as bigger than life figures, right? You know, so when the coronavirus hits one of them, scares us because it's like, oh man, our gods, our idols, even they aren't immune to it. You know, so when you're really woke, you see through the BS, and I'm looking right through the BS, and I'm like, this coronavirus is not that serious. It just really isn't. And they can't lie about the statistics. There's one thing they ain't going to do because there's too many other people who are skeptical, who are woke in the media, who will bust them out on that. So all they keep doing is they keep saying all these possible things that could happen. You know, now could the coronavirus mutate even more and become worse? I believe it could. But what we need to really focus on is, why is this such a scare when it's not really harming the average person? Only people with compromised immune systems and the elderly are the people who are really susceptible to this. So I just try to encourage everybody, you know, to just stay woke. Don't fall for the BS. Don't get caught up in the fear mongering, right? Because that's all they're trying to do. And just basic sanitation. You go on any website, and it tells you the way to prevent the coronavirus is to do what anybody, I hope, who's listening should have been doing all along. You know, basic stuff like wash your hands before you eat. Wash your hands after you use the bathroom. Wash your hands if you know you've been touching a lot of stuff. And a lot of y'all who are in the medical field, y'all washing y'all hands constantly anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand these things and stop letting this system scare us up. They already did it to us in Y2K. They already did us with Y2K, had everybody running out, buying water, just like they're doing now, potty meat, noodles, you know what I'm saying? And then when nothing happened, you just got all this stuff stocked up. I'm not saying don't prepare, you know, because the panic can still make things worse. It's not the pandemic, it's the panic. I'm not worried about the coronavirus. I'm worried about what the coronavirus will make people do. But I yield.
All right, Brother Josh. All right, we appreciate you calling in. Again, y'all, it's the Social Hub right here on Debate Talk Radio. That number's 319-527-6239. We have Sheik in the building. Sheik, what's going on?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing well. So I work in the school system. All the ISDs closed indefinitely, and we'll review April 3rd on whether we're going back or not. Now, whether this virus is real or not, I could say that if one or two people having it in a school, it's going to be definitely like wildfire. We couldn't contain the flu or bronchitis or anything else that was going on. I mean, one person felt ill, then it was like domino effect, because you wash your hands all you want. These kids are everywhere touching everything, not washing their hands. They are unbelievers. But I will say that I took the stance that Josh did about 2 weeks ago. My nephew worked for the military, and he was like, start stockpiling. We're like, it's really not going to be that serious. Or if we're bunkered down, it won't be for that long. And 2 weeks later, bam, that's when, things are closing, stuff like that. You know, I really think that San Francisco is just a pilot to see how will it work or what will happen in a 2 week time frame. I received a voice call from a family member of a family member who works in the Pentagon. They said it's going to be a 2 week shutdown for the whole country. So I'm definitely for preparation. I definitely held that stance that, they're just trying to get us in this fear. But whether it's real or not, it's really happening. And I don't know if it's a test or is this the real thing. So I would advise everybody to prepare. I do think the coronavirus, they say that it happened in Wuhan. I'm really skeptical of that. I think it might have been here first already, which is probably why they're not rushing out to test. Because we saw people dying of pneumonia and the flu, and it's just like, what? This is unheard of, even people with means. So it's like, why is this happening? Now, of course, we know the flu kills people every year. I once severely had the flu. I thought I was going to die. Literally saw myself above my body. It was that bad. But, and this is after I worked in the call center at the time. This was after, like, everybody in the call center got it. And then I got it. I got the mutated, extra strain stuff that came out. And I was out for a whole week. I could not even get up. And so, yes, the flu can be that bad. However, as we talk about keeping our immune systems up and things like that, I think why they're fearing this more than the flu is because exponentially the number and how it's going, it's not just the weak that's dying. It's everybody that's dying. When you look at Germany, when you look at Italy, they're having 300 people die overnight, 200 people die overnight. And so when you look at that exponentially, that's going to beat the flu at some point. Point of intersection, about 6 months, perhaps, and then up from there. So, the only thing that they can really do is try to get a vaccine or something going where people can fight it off. So those are my thoughts on it. And, of course, it's about the money. It's always about the money. We're hoping that we still get paid because, how are we, responsible for a pandemic? And we have a contract. most of us are on contract. Some of us are not. Our salaries are already budgeted by the school districts already, so it should be okay. And it's saving millions by not opening the school. So hopefully they will at least recognize that and give us our money, And not only that, my school district says we still have to work. I have a meeting in the morning via online. So, those are my thoughts. I would just say everybody should prepare. I saw people buying the stupidest stuff. It was like stupid stuff. Buy canned goods, non-perishables, prepared to be locked down for a little while, at least a month. So I'll yield on that. Go ahead.
All right. Once again, the number is 319. You got Principal Sheik in the building, letting us know from the education standpoint. All right. Families are, have to stay home and, they can't go to work because, the kids are not going to school. Being that you're on the line, like, I know you got a kid yourself. How are you dealing with that type of stuff, personally, as far as, not being able to, for school, you got a meeting you said tomorrow, so I guess you're going to figure it out. But how is it, affecting you personally when it comes to the kids and stuff like that? Go ahead.
My daughter and my niece have gotten cabin fever, just being in our houses and running around. They've gotten into it and stuff like that. I usually deal with older kids, so it's kind of weird, to have to think about, what do you do for a 3-year-old? So tomorrow I started posting resources online in my group, the Hebrew Israelite Information Exchange, and on my page, I started handing out resources and links to things. So for your younger kids, and this is what I plan to do with my daughter, they learn by singing, dancing, games, things like that. So what I have started to think about is how I would do my schedule is that we'll have gym in the morning after we eat. a nutritious breakfast. Get your veggies in your breakfast. We'll do gym, and then we'll do maybe English and what's the other one? English and math, and then the next day social studies and science. So there's some cool things on the internet that's already out there for homeschooling. There's also a website called Stanford Harmony, and it has lessons on there already prepared for social emotional learning from first grade to 12th grade. So I'm starting to put those things up. So, everything is about structure. When my daughter was a baby, I had to develop our routine. The faster you get kids into routine, you reduce anxiety, and they know what's happening next. They know what's expected of them. So I would just start to make a schedule, write it down, put it up on a bulletin board. We're going to do this next. We're going to do that next. We're going to have free time. We're going to have lunch time. We're going to have bath time, all the way up, get them in the bed early, get them plenty of rest, especially if they're younger, and keep their vitamins up, keep your vitamins up, and that's my plan to attack that.
All right, Vinny D, if you're out there, first number one, Vinny, I see you. First number one, though. So put you on the queue. Again, the number is 319-527-6239, the coronavirus. As you can hear, there's a lot of information, a lot of views when it comes to this virus that's out there. A lot of people taking it different ways. There's have spiritual elements and, economic elements to it. Again, let's hear your thoughts. The number is 319-527-6239. And, thank Blog Talk for the screen calls, because a lot of people that's been standing by, man, they got some crazy things that they want to just say on the air. I'm like, wow. A lot of people responding to this thing, in a whole nother way. But Shanti, you didn't take the floor, but sister. You there, Shanti?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Nigga.
You got a question?
Oh.
You just want to give me some more of my thoughts.
Yeah. Whatever you heard, anything that you want to build on, add on. That I can throw a question out there for you though, but that.
Okay, I'll build a little bit more on my thoughts. Before I do, I want to say what's up to Sister Sheik and what's up to Reese. I wasn't mindful of saying shalom, hello to Reese. I hear everybody's opinions, and I think shalom. I hear everybody's opinions. Right now, I would like to say I can't deal in any absolutes. I agree with Sheikah in that, wherever the source is from or wherever it originated or wherever it started, I mean, the reality is it's happening, and, it's all about how we react. And speaking about react, I know Brother Josh definitely did a lesson on it, and as a matter of fact, I was listening to some documentaries on the coronavirus and the source, and then I caught Brother Ron Shields' Divine Prospect. He did like a 2.5-hour informational video on it. Like that cat is really into his science, and he really be knowing all them. He know all the medicinal terms and all this stuff, but he talking about vitamins and health and how the virus works and how it interacts, with the pathogens, et cetera, et cetera. So I encourage everybody to go back and look at that. But just for me, I have a sister and a brother. They have a house of 5 teenagers, and my sister, she did have to go out and purchase some things for the children who are going to be at home now for a total of like 5 weeks. They were out last week. Theirs was one of the first school districts to shut down last week because there was later on revealed that a 7-year-old elementary kid had it out here in Sacramento, South Sac, and I believe his family had it too. When I say family, I believe that was his parents. So they quarantined. And he's recovering and doing better. And I appreciate Sister Sheik bringing out the stats of, people who have it, the exponential of who could potentially have it, and, the recovery. Those are important, significant steps to start putting out there. Back to my sister, 5 teenagers in the house. So it takes for, and when I mean 5 teenagers, I mean my nieces and my nephews. They're pretty much all 17 years old. They were born the same year and like 3 months apart from each other. It was like back to back. Purchase food that's gonna last teenagers who are staying in the house. To me, it's not necessarily panic buying. It's that it's gonna be like summertime when the kids are in the house. Let me go upstairs with everyone. When the kids are in the house, pretty much they're going to be eating all day, every day. You know what I mean? They're going to be eating all day, every day. And sorry about that, y'all. They're going to be eating all day, every day. And I know my sister's trying to ration those things out. But for teenagers who's, 17 years old, pretty much all of them, unless you regulate, they're going to be eating. So they need things in the house on a daily. They're not going to play miniature golf. They're not going skating. They're not going to the mall. They're not going to the movies. They're not going over each other's friend's house. They're pretty much going to be at home. And I don't think people are necessarily running frantic. I think people are being prepared, and I think it's a matter of people at one time being prepared. And So going out and doing those things, I mean, I've seen that, and I'm actually going to, we got some cases of water that we've been distributing because it's just me and my husband here. But people are, just getting prepared at pretty much the same time, and they want to try to slow things down. It's not necessarily about not being afraid of getting the virus because, younger people can have healthy immune systems and have a good, robust immune system. It's just about slowing it down so that the virus doesn't spread to people who have pre-existing underlying illnesses, such as respiratory or Reese was mentioning earlier, cancer, or they have some type of asthma. And the thing about getting sick with this virus is that it's not necessarily that outside of the possibility of you dying, it's the possibility of you just walking around, you being out here, there, everywhere. You're talking, even though you're coughing. Right after you coughing your elbow, you proceed to talking, and you can still spread it that way. And the people who have it or potentially have it, they walk around asymptomatic. They don't have the symptoms possibly between 2 to 14 weeks before they notice anything is wrong. That's another factor that has to be put out here as well. This is different. And I would like to say before I yield, because I know I've been talking for a good long while, this coronavirus, as I was watching, I know Reese was saying 5G. I'd also like to throw in there, with the Wuhan, with the China, they do have unsanitary practices when they deal with their wet markets. They have these live animals, they're slaughtering them in there, and it's not necessarily from consumption, it just could be from mishandling. You know what I mean? It could be just mishandling of those animals and things like that. But, I just encourage people to try to research a little more. The CDC is not always putting out misinformation. Like I said, Brother Ron Shields, he gave out great websites to go and get real-time information from. But the coronavirus is not necessarily new. What's happening now is it's a new strain. The coronavirus has been around since the 1960s. So there was something called MERS, and then SARS was a type of coronavirus. And there has been research with the MERS and the SARS that is pretty much hopping a lot of times from bats, pangolins, and any other animal who can come in contact with those sources. So I'm not saying that's the only way that we're getting this, but just be mindful that this virus has been around for quite some time, even before we've had all the technology. It's been around for quite some time. However, this is a new strain. This is a different strain, and that's why we're trying to, and we're trying to actually catch up to, catch up to how we can, counteract it. I do want to send my condolences to like the whistleblower over in Wuhan, China, because the powers that be over in Wuhan, China, they told homeboy to shut up, and they told him to go away, and he died from it. He passed from it. You know what I mean? He was trying. He was doing his best. Pretty much, they dropped the ball, and then, other countries had to pick up from where they could, and I think they're doing a good job so far with what they have. I'm not saying that they're not hiding information. I'm just saying sometimes you really don't know, and you can't give out information if you don't know. So I just prayerfully believe that everybody would just be mindful of what's going on. Like Sister She says, this is a reality. Everybody's not necessarily panicking. We're just doing the best with the information that we have, and we're trying to make the best of it. So with that, I yield.
All right. Once again, the number is 319-527-6239. We talked about that coronavirus, y'all, right here on Debate Talk for You, the Social Hub. Vinny, let me go to Vinny real quick. Vinny, you there? Yeah. Vinny, can you hear me? All right. I guess we got some technical difficulties on Vinny's side. But, hold on. Is that Vinny? That's you? All right. Let's go to BA in the meanwhile. BA? Can you hear me, BA?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you live. Some people asking some questions on some of the groups on Facebook in regards to the mask. Even though in the news the reporters are saying that only people that have the virus wear the mask, but there's people out there saying, well, no, we're not going to listen to them. They're still wearing the mask regardless. You want to just share a little bit of input on that? Like, should you wear the mask? Should you not wear the mask? Go ahead.
I wouldn't be the right person to give you an answer on that. I would just say, based on what I personally believe what this thing is, from what I'm looking at, I'm kind of on the side of the inner, not, I don't want to say necessarily, but I was sickness and radiation. I remember over about a year ago, about 5G being pushed, like 5G was going to be something that was being implemented, and I do remember how people were protesting about it, but back then you don't make the connections, but I heard it was some health hazards. I remember seeing some articles online, so and at that time I didn't really check into it, but when Reese was speaking earlier, a lot of that came back to my memory, because I do remember that. I remember people were complaining because they were saying how the president was implementing or getting involved in actually making the 5G to where we can have it in the United States. And correct me if I'm wrong, Reese, on that one, but I do remember something of that nature. But as far as being an expert on wearing a mask or not, I wouldn't be the right person to answer that question. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't, that's the choice you're going to have to make. But it's getting to a point to where most definitely is there a reason that causes concern? Yes. My concern is the behavior of people. I'm not necessarily worried about the virus. It's the Most High's will. If it happens, it happens. If it don't. But at the same time, I'm concerned on people's behavior. That's what my concern is. You know what I'm saying? Hoping people can keep it together, not lose it. And another thing that bothers me, I heard a lot of comments today. I was out and about taking care of some business, doing the oil change and tune up on my truck. And I heard a lot of things said. It just seems like a lot of common people in America, or where I live at, California, Northern California, a lot of people have a lot of hate and hostility towards immigrants, people who are not natural inhabitants of this country. A lot of people are saying some very vile and mean and nasty things towards people of Asian descent. I've even heard some people saying some things about Trump needs to make sure he builds that wall to keep the Mexicans out. These things are very disturbing. So this is not the time for common folks and poor folks, or of all people of all nationalities, who are on the same boat economically, to start castigating each other and to start believing into the stereotypes that are being implemented in the minds of simple people from the television. So with that, Sal, I'm gonna fall back.
All right, we do have a caller. And once again, family, you guys can call in 319-527-6239. Let your voice be heard. We only have like 28 minutes left on the air. And after that, we probably go into the overtime part of the show, but you never know. But let's go to the callers. Let's go to 323. You're live.
Hello, good day. This is Rosine from Los Angeles, and calling to tell you that I think you should wear the mask on account because of the flu. I mean, there's people out there that's literally spreading the flu on purpose, not because of the coronavirus, but the flu does, lay you around sick for 2 weeks, and you can do a lot things with your time in 2 weeks. So it'll save you a lot of time, just wear the mask. Even make them, sell them.
All right, so in your opinion, just wear the mask, safety precautions.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, too, it seems like every time I see these chemtrails, like 3 days later it starts to rain, and, of course, it breaks down your immune system. You're bound to get sick, and it gets a little further with them tents, with the flu outside the hospital, and you can catch pneumonia out there with that type of weather. So you got to think about what's really going on.
All right, I appreciate that.
Wow.
Let's go back. Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's Chica. Shalom, Shakti. Sorry, I had to step away for a minute. Okay, so about the mask, they're telling people don't wear a mask unless you have the virus, right? And that's to stop the spread of the virus. The reason why they're doing that, and I only know this because my sister works in the medical field, is because people are buying up the mask and there's not enough for health professionals, okay? So they're like, slow down on the mask. The people who have it wear the mask. That will stop them spreading it. But it's not just them that need the mask. When I went to the hospital with my sister, unfortunately, she got bronchitis from my daughter. I did not. I take my kind vitamins, and I have not been sick since, okay? They're on sale right now at the vitamin shop, which was very empty, by the way. But if you have any type of respiratory infections or disease that you have been dealing with, you need to wear a mask. So because she had bronchitis and she was still on her Z-Pack for that, she had to wear a mask the entire time in the hospital. So if you're breaking down like that, please wear the mask.
All right, anybody else want to chime in about the mask? I can do so now. Anybody else can chime in? Going once?
I want to ditto. This is Sister Shanti. I want to ditto what Sister Sheik said, because that's pretty much what I've been hearing, especially like she said from medical professionals who are having to work with the patients. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Once again, the number is 319-527-6239. I see we got a call. I believe this is Brother Mercy. I believe it is 443.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're live. Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. All right. Let me see. You guys can hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm
still.
Okay. I don't know what happened just now. But all right. Hey, we're going to get back to you. Vinny. Let's get Vinny on the line. Vinny, you back?
Okay, yeah. Can I be heard?
Yeah, you're live. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just to touch on one of them things about the mask too, man. Most of these people is buying the wrong kind of mask. They walking around with the paper thin mask that ain't gonna do nothing, and then the people that need them and in the professions that they use, they can't even get them. You know, so I know at the paint store, man, the paint store is putting them on hold. Like, you got to be a contractor to buy the masks now, because people was coming up in there buying all type of masks that aren't even rated for the type of things that they're trying to avoid. But anyway, on a couple things Brother Josh said and Brother BA and everybody else about and Sister Reese about the panic. You know, everybody's going into this panic mode, and the weird thing that's kind of weird to me, just kind of shift gears, is just how selfish we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really thinking of other people, like, and the needs that other people got. We just going out for self, making sure we got everything, even over buying certain things, you know. And I think that's kind of weird. Another thing that I was gonna say was just the panic. The panic thing is the main issue. I kind of blanked out on the other thought. But I would like to hear other people do that. I know I kind of shifted gears a little bit, but I'll yield on that for now.
So you want to hear what people feel about the panic that may happen? Is that your question? Really?
Yeah, about like how people are panicking and they're not really thinking about other people. You know, like it's kind of like the Black Friday sales where you got everybody just scrambling trying to get stuff. And if you see somebody rushing towards something that's there that's already rushing it, you know, you see people rushing there to get it before them. You know what I mean? And then then a lot of people was like taking the stuff, you know, too much, and not leaving enough for anybody else. You know, so I just kind of want to, you know, see if anybody else notices that. I know I kind of switched gears a little bit, but I would like to kind of see if anybody noticed that, you know. Other than me, I'll yield on that.
I did. Yeah, Brother B. Oh, you did? Yeah. You can sound on that. Yeah, BA. I was gonna say, if Josh is still there on the line with you, or not? He hung up.
Hold on, let me check. Yo, Josh, you there, bro? Oh, he was on the road, so he probably couldn't hang on too much longer. I know he said he had things to take care of, so maybe he didn't stay on for that long and call it a night.
But you can say your piece. You can say your piece on there.
No, I didn't hear that last question, and I had the phone down for a second when I'm at the house with the kids. But you want to repeat that for me, though?
Pretty much, Vinny's asking, like, is there, you know, what's your, you know, do you see, like, people being selfish and, you know, when they taking the toilet tissue, they're not sharing, you know, it's not, people being real selfish out there, just looking out for themselves. Like, what do you feel about that?
You know, man, I don't, to be honest, I don't see nothing wrong with being prepared and trying to make sure you have enough products for your house and your families. But there are people out here who I've met today just making simple conversation with, and they're saying they have no toilet tissue, they have no water. And that's another reason that will cause people to panic. So for those who are hoarding all the products, yes, there's nothing wrong, and I understand you're trying to make sure you have enough for your household. But if there's anyone you know out there that or any families who don't have as much when it comes to the basic necessities that have been bought up, please share. I mean, show some humanity, and share with those neighbors, those people you may know who are suffering, who are not able to get out to the store. We don't know people's different. We know people with different walks of life. Some people were able to get to the store. You have some people who were not able to get to the store. We don't know the circumstances. But as I was saying earlier, I just hope that that when it comes to the America is a melting pot. It's a melting pot of different ethnicities, and I'm just hoping that these racist stereotypes they don't carry on, man. Because I know personally, I don't have any issues with anyone of another race or another color, or whichever you prefer to call it. We're all human beings. We all bleed the same and vice versa. But I'm just hoping that it doesn't cause people to go on these mad tirades and start going against beating up certain people because they feel like, or just because we know from the news media that everything started in China. Now all of a sudden there's racial slurs being thrown at people of Asian descent and there's people getting mad at the Latinos, and this is crazy. This is what, to those who control power, who control the wealth, this is what they want. Division brings chaos. Divide and conquer. People who are divided and conquered, you make it easier for those who control things. You make it easier for them. So please, be mindful, be mature, be respectful, and not fall into the stereotypes that are being pushed by the media. Just those are my words.
All right, family. Once again, the number is 319-527-6239. I appreciate everybody on social media, on the phone line, checking out this show. Some people think that this coronavirus is something major cause for concern, and there's others out there that's like, we'll get past this. So what do you guys think? Again, you can call in 319-527-6239. Hold on, let me see. All right, Reese. Let's go back to Reese Roberts. And pretty much what we're going to do is, because we're winding down real quick, I guess everybody could get some last words at this particular point. I think a lot of information has been put out there. But let's go start with Reese Roberts. Last words. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I would just say for everybody to continue doing your research and just pay attention. There's much to read into about the virus, but again, use your common sense. When you are, just looking outside, you don't see any panic or anything out of the norm. I mean, everything in my community is normal. The only thing that's not normal is them shutting everything down. So, to me, the panic and all that worrying and all that fear is just too much for something so small. We need to really just chill, I mean, I like the spirit of the memes that I see in our, on Black Twitter or Black IG or Black Facebook, whatever, because we don't seem to be taking it so seriously. I see more jokes about the coronavirus than anything else. And I appreciate that because I recognize that it's really not that serious. It's just not. So, there's another thing that the cases that were originally reported as a part of the outbreak in China, they say more than half of those people are already fully healed, already. So it's like we tripping. We're doing too much. We're really doing too much. And it's doing nothing but what it always does. And it's making other people rich and making us look stupid. So we just need to chill, let these folks do whatever they're getting ready to do, and get back to doing what we're supposed to be doing.
All right. So Reese, last words is chill.
Basically.
I got you.
Let it go.
All right. Once again, I appreciate you for coming on as usual. Reese Roberts, and put the website out there. Let people know some things that's going on. Maybe they want to hear, check you out.
Oh, I have so much going on. I don't even know how to even tell y'all. But my website, ReeseRoberts.com, it has access for my podcast, which is Entertain the Thought. I talk about human consciousness and the science of natural law and how that applies to our social evolution, our religious beliefs, our identity of, as individuals. I talk about quite a bit. So feel free to go to ReeseRoberts.com to check that out. And, you can look at my different services. I provide services for relationships, people, really relationships of any type. If you have issues with a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, your children, something going on at work, I basically just mediate situations between people and things. So if you need that type of service, you can find out information about that on ReeseRoberts.com as well. And that's about it. I have some other stuff. I think it is Orthodox more on this call? Did he get on this call?
Nah, not today. He can't make it.
He not? Okay. Okay. All right, well, yeah, that's it for me. You guys definitely take care. I do appreciate being a part of this discussion.
Thanks a lot, Reese. And I'll leave the link in the description box to make it easier for people to gain access to the websites. But let's go to Brother B.A. Any last words, B.A.? Go ahead.
Greetings and much love to all who are listening. Much love to the brothers and sisters who spoke this evening. We appreciate those who were. We appreciate everybody's comments. And again, we're all human beings here. This is not the time to go at each other's necks and start getting mad at certain people for acting a certain way or being some type of way. Like Sister Reese was saying, please don't panic. Chill out. Be cool. For those in the religious world, rather they be Christian or with the various other denominations, it's not the time to condemn and to beat people up with indoctrinations on ideologies. This is the time to provoke and to warn people on whatever type of message you're preaching when it comes to the Most High God Hashem. Make sure that you're making yourself available to those who are in need, who need to hear the message of the gospel. And with that being said, thank everybody for coming out tonight again. Much love to those who are listening. Shalom. Have a good night.
It's Brother B.A. right there, host of the Man Up segment. Any you want to put any plugs out there right now while you're on the air, or you can do that?
Yeah, March 25th, Most High willing, me and Brother Vinny, we're going to do a conversation about wage slavery. A lot of people may not be aware that for us who make wages, that is a form of slavery. Some people believe it's a form of slavery. Some people believe it's automatic slavery. And what we're going to do March 25th, me and Brother Vinny, we're going to pull out some information based on the things we have read and we've studied over the years, and just share some things that we feel pertain to the topic when it comes to wage slavery. Looking forward to on that conversation with your brother. For those who would like to chime in and listen and press on, please. We're always open and willing to hear different opinions. I have no issue with people with different opinions, but at the same time, make sure you're respectful. And with that, Sal, have a good night.
Yeah, VA. Actually, VA. I'm looking at the calendar right now, and we actually booked on that date, man. I had to change that date. We actually got the second quarter coming up on that day, on the 25th.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're gonna talk about that.
We'll talk about
that.
All right.
Once again, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, though. All right. On that note, Shanti, hey, host of the second quarter. She's last words.
My last words. I do want to say peace and blessings. Shalom, shalom. Mishpachah Wahabradim. That means peace, wellness, wholeness, and completeness to family and friends out there. Again, I want to say, Kol Tehali, Kol Kabo, Wahati Perez, Yahweh, Avinu, Eloheinu, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, our Father, our Elohim, for those who believe in the Most High Supreme Creator. My last words are keep the prayers up, keep the thoughts up, keep the families in prayer, practice good hygiene, make sacrifices, and improvise. If you may not have toilet paper, start thinking about other stores to get some from other than Target and Walmart. Maybe Nugget, Sprout, or like I bought some Lysol from 7-Eleven. I mean, they have some stuff. They have water and some sanitizer and some toilet tissue. You know what I mean? So it's just some of these off-brand stores that you may not be thinking of previously. Start thinking of them now. But like BA said, share. Like I said, I'll be giving some water down the street to my sister. I already gave a case to my mother-in-law, but just try to at this time, spend time with your families, improvise, think about ways you can spend time with your children, learning or playing some games, or learning how to build your immune system. Like she said, get the multivitamins. I take multivitamins myself. I've been exercising for a whole month now, just getting back into those practices. just be mindful of how to make your own hand sanitizer, how to make your own disinfectant wipes, how to make your own baby wipes. Start Googling and getting online with the time you have to learn how to improvise. Get with your local farmers and learn how to start, growing food and learning how to, make almond milk. I had a sister today, actually. I asked her, and she shared the recipe on how to make almond milk. It's just the time to learn how to improvise and have these, old school critical thinking skills to go ahead and use what we have to provide us with the things that we need. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily in a panic, but I'm learning about turmeric. I'm learning about spirulina. I'm learning about all these things. Apple cider vinegar, of course. Again, thieves to make wipes, disinfectant wipes, aloe vera gel, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, all these things. I'm just learning these things, and as I learn, I put this information out there so that we can improvise. I mean, if people are running in a panic, it's possibly because they don't know, and like Brother Mercy was saying, people perish for a lack of knowledge, and sometimes it's about rejecting the knowledge or choosing not to have these things. We live in such a microwave society, but prayerfully, hopefully, people choose to start making these little sacrifices, taking the time to improvise, learning how to make your own bread, or learning how to grow your own food, or learning how to get the herbs and essential oils and things to build your immune system and things of that nature. You know what I mean? That's my prayer in this time. I hope people learn from this, and let's learn how to work together. Like Nia said, be mindful, be respectful. Let's practice some integrity here, and we're all in this together. It might not seem like it. We're all in this together. We will fight this. It's going to take some time, have some patience, and this is the time of testing for our love of ourselves. And lastly, I'll say, I put this out on Facebook. I think it was last week. The fear factor. I don't think we should have a scary, afraid fear. I think we should have a reverent, respectful fear, and that is, understand if we're afraid to die, especially of unnatural causes, it's time to self-examine. If we're afraid to leave our loved ones, make sure we have our life insurance in check. Think about those things. You know what I mean? I know retirement is going down a little bit, but life insurance, that's the thing. If you're afraid that you're going to die, or if you're afraid that you're going to die of unnatural causes and then leave your family, with just leave them behind, think about what you're going to leave them behind with. So with that, I do want to close out with the ironic priestly vestling on my end. Yahweh Ishmaraka, Yahweh Panavalecha Wihuneka, Yisa Yahweh Panavalecha Wayasem Shakashmu. And that means may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May the Most High make his face shine on you and show you favor. May the Most High lift his face towards you. That means accept you and give you some completeness, wholeness, wellness. Shalom. Shalom, shalom.
All right, Shanti. Do you want to plug anything? I mean, you're hosting a program as well. You want to plug any topics on your next show? You can do that now.
Yeah, I don't have a topic as of yet. I do want to not talk about this topic next week, but on the second quarter, I will be on there. I'll probably have a roundtable or some type of open panel discussion. If anybody has any topics, concerns, any type of subject matter they want to bring up to mind, I'm all for it. But next week will be on the second quarter, just for a couple of hours discussing some things. Anything pertinent that comes to mind that we all need to come together and dialogue on, come up with some solutions on. I'm down with that.
All right, family, check out the second quarter with the host of Shanti. Make sure y'all be here right here on Debate Talk Radio. I appreciate you for being a part of this program. All right, let's go to the next person. Let's go to Sheik Atiba. There's Sheik.
I just want to say, everybody, prepare, but don't prepare in a way where you're hoarding things and stuff like that. And so when the question was asked, yes, I did see that. I saw a young couple with a little bitty baby, and the girl asked her husband, where are we going to get water from? And he said, I don't know. Then meanwhile, went by a family that has 6 cases of water. Okay? And if you ever had a little baby, you know how important water is. I'm not using my supply of water yet because I have a filter in in my my refrigerator, so I'm not even using my supply. But I didn't have it then, or if I would have just gave it, it's important, even if she's breastfeeding, for her to keep hydrated and all types of things. And then you look and you see somebody with 6 cases of water. Now, I had to live hood adjacent. And I said, you know what? I'm going to the hood. Because I remember when I was growing up, we were poor. I didn't know it, but we were poor. And guess who wasn't in a panic? The hood. Nope, wasn't in a panic. Now, when I went to the Cost Saver, you can buy it. They still have water, but you can only buy 2. And that's a more communal way of living. And they did that because somebody came in and brought a whole pallet of water, and their manager said, no, that cannot happen here. CVS still had water. And they had toilet tissue, $5 for a 12-pack roll. So check those places as well. Well, that's what they said in the morning that I was going through trying to look for things. I don't know what it is now, but what do you do when you're in the hood and you run out of toilet paper? Does anybody know? I think we know. You get that washcloth and you make do. We don't have to be like, oh, a washcloth. You're cleaner with the washcloth, and you know how to make do. You wash your clothes in the sink if you need to. That's why I got laundry detergent. But if you run out, you wash your clothes in the sink and you hang them up. You go back what you used to do. And this is where the first child becomes the last and the last child becomes the first, comes in, because people who have grown up poor know how to make it. So, and you don't have to be ashamed about it. It's just something that you know how to do. Thank God. Thank the Most High, right? So everybody just take care of one another. If you're trying to educate at home, one way to not have kids eating up all your stuff is having times to eat. So have a full breakfast, have a lunch, and then have a dinner. Those are the times that we're going to eat. Now, we're not going to eat between unless you have those snack foods, and snacks really should be fruits and vegetables. But, you have your little snacks in between if you have that much food available. But if you want to educate your kids, their grade level, their curriculum is all online. If you type in any of the standards from that curriculum, there'll be activities to do. So you'll have to start planning ahead. My school district and many school districts do have curriculum online for learning at home. If you do not have internet, there are places that are providing free internet or sources or giving you sources of where you can get that from. Of course, we know we can access through our phone, but where else they're actually providing those on those websites too. So check your local state website, and also check your school district's website every day and night, okay? And so with that, I'll say shalom. Everybody take care of yourselves, and see you next time.
All right, Principal Chic. I like calling you that, Principal Chic. Welcome to the program. I appreciate you for coming on as usual, and we'll see you next time. Let's go to Eli. Let's go to Moses, my man. Moses. There we go. Last one is Moses.
Just kind of being duplicative of some sentiments I echoed earlier. We are living in perilous times. When I say perilous times, it's no anomaly that a panic like this has forced people into homeschooling their children, when generally the masses rely on the government to take care of that. Going to the grocery store and buying up as much as you can, when, the masses rely on the stores and the people who started grocery stores for that. Josh made mention of it earlier when he brought out a good point, which is fear-mongering, where the powers, whoever they be, the news, the media, the politicians, constantly keep people on a puppet string, whether it's this crisis in general or this crisis specifically, or larger crisis in general, whether it's, active shooters or whatever it is, it's this constant, bombardment with bad news and media that keeps people, it frightens people. And, in the words of Wu-Tang from their album years ago, 85% of the people are deaf, dumb, and blind. So they just reactionary. They respond. No preparation, no planning. And in the larger scheme of things, these thoughts where it's like, oh, now I got to think about educating my kid for the next 6 weeks. What should I do? Well, for those who've been homeschooling for a long time, you're not worried about that. For those who already built that infrastructure, they're not as concerned about that. For those who've been planting food, they're not concerned about the grocery stores as much. Like, we have to use crisis as a time to learning. So when you look at biblical studies, as an example, Jerusalem was surrounded in 67 AD for the first time. And then the warning was, when you see this, pay attention. And then 3 years later, Jerusalem was ransacked and burned to the ground. So take these things as a warning to be prudent and wise and prepare for the future. So the next time this happens, you're a little step closer to autonomy as a people. And this is something that I've constantly said on the show, is just we got to be in control of resources, right? Not being able to buy resources, produce resources, because I'm certain the Amish is not affected by this. I'm not saying that we necessarily have to be Amish, but we need to situate ourselves to be one step closer to autonomy. The second thing I'll say is, the first thing, again, just control the resources and the lack of people being astute in terms of prudence and planning. Not everybody can afford to plan, so that's why collectivism is important. The second thing is, along the same note, is market correction. Like, if people start making $15 an hour by law, as of last year in some cases, July 1st of this year in other cases, man, the powers then said, look, man, how can we correct this? Well, we need a mechanism to make people as poor as possible again, so they can be back on that debt treadmill and paying us off. And when you study, market economics, capitalist economics, and alternatives to this construct, you kind of see, like, this is exactly what's happening. So I don't know that I'm too concerned about the coronavirus. It's not measles, mumps, rubella, chicken pox. It's not like I got boils all over my flesh, or it can spread and it's contagious like that. We're talking about a disease that they're simply saying, wash your hands. Like, that's the solution? Like, for real? Just wash your hands and wash your face? Like, it's not something that if I get close to somebody, they skin going to start peeling? I can't take that but so seriously as an individual. But at the same time, you can't not respond the way the masses are responding to some extent, because, you're affected by it. I think Vinny was saying, his business is affected by it. The enterprise I run, a couple of them, some of it is going to be affected by it. And, again, you just got to prepare in advance. So those are my thoughts, and appreciate the topic of the show and the variety of people who called in and expressed their thoughts also.
All right, Moses, I appreciate you, man, as usual. Another host on the Social Hub. Appreciate you for coming on the platform. Vinny D, last words. Vinny, you're the last one up. Okay, Vinny.
Okay, yeah. So I'm the last batter, huh? Cleanup hitter.
That's right.
Baseball is in session. Chitty bang bang. I would just say, I would like to highlight a lot of, or mimic what most of the panel said anyway. Can't panic. Now's the time, especially if you really believe that this is like one of those things where you have to start showing your humanity. Don't forget that we're all human. Some people can't get to the resources, or some people don't have it. So we just have to express show our humanity in times like these. And this is the type of times that really build character. Also wash your hands. Don't go out there and start panicking, man. Just kick back and, do what you're supposed to do. Wash up and, live your life, But the main thing is just be a human, because I think that's what the panic is the most detrimental thing that I think is going to hurt us. Is everybody panicking, especially at one time. nobody is the one that's being the level head, you know. So peace to the panel, peace to everybody, great conversation, and look forward to the next topic. Y'all have a blessed night.
Hey, faithful listeners and thinkers. My name is Reese Roberts, and I'm the host of a new podcast called Entertain the Thought, now available on SoundCloud and www.reeseroberts.com. The website and podcast are focused on teaching consciousness and human evolution in current social conditions. As a free member on reeseroberts.com, you'll have access to curated content like videos and free book downloads. You can also schedule personal consulting services for teenagers, singles, and married couples. I also offer an enrichment training program that teaches students the fundamental arts of research and debate to increase their knowledge of self. The T-Team is now open for enrollment. For more information, please visit www.serveincorporated.com/register. Again, that's www.servincorporated.com/register. Thank you very much for tuning in to Debate Talk for You Radio.
Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation through PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $Sal Showtime. Thanks for your support.